Hello and welcome to Brimwood Farm. Here in Suffolk, England, I run a small market garden and flower farm. And this is the first year of my CSA. I only did 10 shares, but the collection day is tomorrow. So let's go harvest. So it's been a hard year for weeds, as every year is, and I've been trying to stay on top of it, and I have been better than last year. There's progress. I tend to start with the bigger, bulkier items to harvest, so not things like salads, which need to be washed and things, more peppers, cucumbers, patty pans, marrows. So we're going to start here. We're going to harvest a load of courgettes, there's some marrows and there's some patty pans, and then we'll move on down to the polytunnel. So currently on the farm, I tend to get to about midweek, Wednesday-ish, and go and have a look around, see what I've got in terms of crops and work out what can go in the boxes. So midweek I had a little check. I saw that there were a load of patty pans and marrows. I saw that there were some peppers. Obviously there's a salad bag, some onions. And so now is the time to come and pick it. With the courgettes and patty pans, I've basically just harvested what's ready, and then I'll divvy that up between the boxes. I'm not sure how many peppers there are, so let's go and see, and then we can work out how many per box. Also, please note, I have actually done some weeding. Ta-da! This was where my onions were, and it looked all like this. This is 2 rows of garlic, and I need to pull them out, and then they will look like that, but I am gradually starting to get on top of it, and it's almost September, so you would have thought I would have done that by now. But I've got a load more lettuces in, as you can see. I've got some more beans in, and then these are some of the onions that came out of the patch. So if we walk down to the poly, this I hope next year will all be in production. I've got this big piece of black tarp that I need to go and drop a load of tyres on top just to drag it down, but I'm hoping all of this will be in production next year. The polytunnel, again, here we go. I need to water. Look at these poor little cucumbers, but there's some peppers amongst here. I don't think there'll be enough tomatoes to give everybody tomatoes, so I may pick those and have them as an extra. Well, as it happens, there were actually only 6 peppers ready to go. So I've picked all those 6, but I've also picked some tomatoes, and I will give people, they can either have tomatoes or they can have peppers. And I think that one thing I'm learning with the CSA is that it doesn't have to be perfect. People are signing up to support your farm and have fresh veggies that taste nothing like they do in the supermarket. So that the fact they might get a tomato vine with a few green tomatoes on, which then they can sit on the windowsill and they'll ripen, or they're only getting 1 big pepper instead of a box of 3 or 4, but it's that 1 green pepper that's been grown right down the road. So I'm trying not to get quite so hung up on making everything absolutely perfect, because what's perfect to me is not necessarily perfect for my customers, and they're actually just quite happy with the produce that they're getting and that's coming out of the farm. And you can better on it year on year on year. So actually, for the start of the veg box, some people will get a big marrow, some people will get a couple of smaller courgettes, some people will get patty pans. Again, it's the choice of what people want. And then there's the tomatoes and the peppers. So I'm also going to pick out some of the larger onions. I tend to keep the smaller onions. Either I'll put them in a box, a couple of them, or I'll take them to a farmer's market. Whereas this week I've got some nice big onions. So I think I'm going to put 1 onion per box for people. Next up, I've got this little patch of spring onions, and most of them are probably at a size when I can pull up. I tend to make bunches of 4, so I need to pull 40. It doesn't look like there's 40 here, but once I get going, there will be enough. And then the other ones that are a little bit smaller, maybe like this, I will leave in to grow a bit more. But this size, for instance, perfectly acceptable for a spring onion. Well, it doesn't actually look like we made a massive dent in it, but we have got our 40 spring onions. So let's go and clean them up, and then we'll band them and pop them into the veg box. The joy of having the borehole. And of course, it's not actually wasting any water, because the water that's come out of this is actually a drinking pipe, drinking water the ducks are enjoying. And the water's literally come out of the ground. So now it's just going straight back to the ground. And there you have it. A nice load of spring onions, ready to go in the box. When it comes to greens, I basically just bring a bucket of drinking water, so clean, cold drinking water, just to take the field heat off, and give it a little bit of a wash. I sell all my products as unwashed, so people know they actually need to rinse them when they get home. But it just helps clean off some of the extra cobwebs and things if they've got on there. And also, as I say, take the field heat off so they last longer. So with this chard, I've basically just gone around, I picked all the charred leaves, I just get them really under the water, nice and cold, and then I've got my elastic bands, so then I will just band them up. And then finally it's time to cut the salad mix, or at the moment it's actually just a lettuce mix. I normally do all of the greens the morning of, actually, to keep them as fresh as possible. So the chard I would do in the morning, herbs I would pick in the morning, and the salad I would pick in the morning. But for the sake of the video, we're going to pick it today. It's the same principle, bucket of cold water, shovel the leaves in there, and then I just have to go and spin and dry and bag them. That's probably the long bit. So for now, let's pick lettuce. So the salad's all picked. Now comes the more time-consuming bit of making salad bags, and I guess that's slightly why they are more expensive and why you can charge a little bit more, because they do require a bit more labour to get them ready. Also, in my personal experience, and obviously I'm biased, but if you get lettuce from the garden or from your local farm, it lasts so much longer. I've had my lettuce bags lasting in the fridge for 10 days, no problem. Whereas often when you buy them from the supermarket, there's already sludge at the bottom of the bag. Now, I don't have a bubbler, I don't have a drying rack, I have nothing like that at all. I don't need it because I'm not doing the quantities yet. I will need it in the future, I hope. But for now, it's literally my bucket of salad and a salad spinner. And this came from Amazon. It's literally a salad spinner. I put my salad in there, I dry it off, and then it goes into these compostable bags. And that's it. All of the components prepped. So I'm going to get all the bits and I'll get one of the boxes and we'll just see what's going in it. And so the CSA share this week consists of 1 onion, a bag of salad, a marrow, 2 little courgettes or patty pan, a bundle of chard, a large pepper or a small vine of tomatoes, some spring onions, and then I also just popped into the polytunnel and picked some flat leaf parsley. So I hope that's given you a little bit of insight into how I'm making up my veg boxes. I'm still not perfectly happy with them, and as I've said before, I completely underestimated how much I needed to grow this year. So it's been a struggle, but we learn, right? So next year I will grow even more, and actually, even as we speak, I've got a load of autumn stuff started out. They are coming on as small little plants now. I'm going to prick them out, pot them on, and then they'll be in the polytunnel for the season next year for farmers markets, and possibly some of the crops will be ready for the end of this CSA when we reach October, November time. For now, however, I need to go and put all these greens in the fridge because, as I say, I normally pick them in the morning, so they don't need to go in the fridge, they just go straight to the customer. Today they need to last overnight, so they're going to go, the chard, the spring onions and the salad bags are all going in the fridge, and I'm going to go and do that now.